I made a channel in my Discord server, link in the description, for people to post their Castle Crasher hot takes. And oh boy did you guys deliver. Peanut Butter says that Frost King needs more love, and yeah, no. The guy literally kidnaps a princess and keeps her in an icy cell. And if that's not bad enough, the fight itself is one of the worst in the game, since you spend the whole time sliding around on ice whilst the Frost King teleports around the arena. Plus that laugh he does really makes me want to punch him. Scorch says that Open-Faced Grey Knight is a good character and he will die on that hill. Well, Scorch, I hope you're in a good death pose because no one's joining you on that hill. Ica says that the Cyclops is the groom's father. Now in my opinion, I don't believe this to be the case, since the Cyclops has one eye whilst the groom has two, so unless the mother has the strongest genes in existence, I just can't see it being the case. And to me, I see them as a bodyguard slash best friend relationship. Captain Jack says that the groom is one of the most difficult fights on Insane Mode. I would say that the groom is the first difficult boss on Insane Mode, as his attacks are completely random and he really packs a punch. But at the same time, he's also extremely easy to cheese. So if you don't know the proper strategy, then yeah, he's definitely one of the hardest ones. But if you know what you're doing, then he's kind of a pushover. Superintendent says that the corn boss is fun. No, he's not. Scarabs are their favourite enemy. Well, that is only you there, bud. Coneheads need more bombs? And finally, the Industrial Prince should be in Castle Crashers too. Now this one I actually agree with, since we never got any confirmation of his death. And with the Necromancer confirming to be alive, it would be cool if he becomes an ally in the second game. If that ever happens. Cheese says that Fencer and Industrialist are the most overrated characters in the game. And yeah, I 100% agree. Now don't get me wrong, Industrialist and Fencer are great at melting bosses. But against any other enemy, they're actually kind of bad. I mean, they're still playable, but the Blue Knight and Red Knight are much better against other enemies. Man4351 says, the Bear Club isn't worth it because of the -3 agility. Yeah, no, that is a hot take. It is 100% worth it to have -3 agility for +5 strength and defense. And I guarantee that if you have max agility, you will not notice that difference. Plus, you can also chuck on Meowbert, who will actually cancel out the -3, giving you +1. Captain Jack says that Seahorse is not completely useless. It has its niche, but is still useful. Now I see where you're coming from, as on the Flooded Temple level, Seahorse does make it better. But at the same time, you could just fly or hit the enemies and float above the water. Plus that level is 2 waves, so the time it takes to go grab Seahorse just isn't even worth it. Cativo says that alien magic isn't that good. And yeah, but it's also not terrible. I find it to be great against beefies and small bosses, but I would definitely rather have Blue Knight or Red Knight or many other characters instead. Deleted User says that Bear is the best character in the game when you fully mastered his tech. Now there's no denying that the Bear is the best character when it comes to medium juggling, since you're able to get extra hits off during the juggle that no other character can do. Well, technically the Saracen can, but that's just a worse Bear. But outside of medium juggling, the Bear is just kind of average. But if we're talking PvP, then yeah, the Bear is definitely the best in the game. Official Dragon King says that the Insane Shop doesn't sell good items, which I'd have to disagree with. The Newgrounds Golden Sword is one of the best weapons in the game, and the Chainsaw is also really good too. However, Dragonhead and Pelter are terrible, so I agree that the Insane Store doesn't sell good animal orbs. Captain Jack says that magic is overrated and there are only 3 or 4 magics that are actually good. And yeah, I kind of agree. For most of the game, you're going to want to be meleeing. And outside of a few certain scenarios, meleeing is most likely the better option. However, there are magics that are really good. One being Blue Knight, who has the ability to freeze all small enemies, beefies, and small bosses. The reason Blue Knight really excels is the fact that his magic plays into his melee combinations, meaning it's more of a complement to the melee than the magic itself. Cakequake says that Industrialist and Fencer aren't that good and they're probably at max an A tier. Now I would disagree with the A tier as I still think they deserve S tier. Their time to kill on large bosses are unmatched, and although they're not great outside of large bosses, you can still just juggle and melee them. Apu says that they should have given Necromancer better magic, and I 100% agree. Although looking really cool, Necromancer's damage output is kind of underwhelming, meaning the only real reason you'd pick Necromancer is because of his looks. And with him being one of the hardest characters to unlock in the game, he definitely should have gotten better magic. IDK says that Peasant and Civilian do not need to be playable. And yeah, I guess they don't really need to be playable, but it's more playable characters, so I'm not going to complain. Shy Puppet says that the Fire Demon is the best shopkeeper in the game. And Glorp can go suck on an egg? Yeah, no, this is incorrect. The Fire Demon has no respect for his store, as he can't even be bothered to pick up his dropped merchandise. Plus the way he stood there looks really rude. And if you're playing on the Xbox 360 edition, he also says that he hates his job. Whilst Glorp on the other hand looks very respectable and polite, whilst also selling the cheapest health potions in the whole game. So don't ever disrespect my boy Glorp ever again. Cativo says that juggling should be nerfed and all enemies should be medium weight only. Now that is probably the hottest take I've heard so far. Making all enemies a medium juggle will take away some variety from the game. And when it comes to juggling, it's kind of Castle Crash's identity at this point. Doing anything to change it could harm the game. Snowy Boy says that Eskimo has a cooler design than Blue Knight. And I would disagree, but I guess it's personal preference. Open Face Grey Knight gets too much hate? Nah, it's all justified. Green Knight is the worst character, but he's fun to play due to the change in juggles. I personally don't like playing as him as I find the juggling frustrating, but I can see why people find him fun since it is a different way to play. Gold School Mace has the best design in the game for weapons, and I can see the appeal, but for me, it definitely isn't the best. RIP Old Stakey Mace. Concon says that Froglet is the best animal orb, and no, unfortunately he's not. I think a simple way to make him not completely useless is by making whatever items in his mouth stay there until you pick it up, meaning you can have him store a meat for you which can then be used at any point during a level. Vulgo Arthur says that Elemental Infusion is kinda bad and juggling is far superior. And whilst juggling is definitely the go-to option, I wouldn't say Elemental Infusion is bad. For example, the Blue Knight and Eskimo's Elemental Infusions are the best in the game. And for most of the other characters in the game, Armor Pierce is not a bad choice either. The only time Elemental Infusion is bad is if you're playing as Grey Knight, Red Knight, Green Knight, or Orange Knight. Snowy Boy says that Ninja Smoke Cloud deserves more love, which I definitely agree with. Although many people would like to see the ninja's AI magic instead, it definitely wouldn't have been fun to use. It would suck on regular enemies and large boss fights, whilst also being a nightmare in PvP, whereas the Smoke Cloud is actually pretty good. Arayamonji says 4th Princess over Medusa. Could I just take both please? But also, Insane Mode is boring rather than difficult. And for this one, I would have to disagree. Whilst I can see the argument for it being boring, I personally like the challenge. There's something just so relaxing about juggling trolls for 30 minutes straight. Now this one just says that they wish Insane Mode was more unique visually. And yeah, I completely agree, that would be an amazing addition to the game. It would be cool to see the colour palettes change, similar to what we see in the Boss R mod. Although I do wish that every boss fight had something unique to it, as on Insane Mode, there are some bosses who have slight differences to their normal mode counterpart. I really wish this was expanded to every boss, but hey, it's better than nothing. Zamoon says that Open Face Grey Knight is the most pointless character in the game, and yeah, he is. Lil Timothy says that the fishmen are more annoying than the scarabs. Now for me, the fishmen are a close second, as their immune phase is extremely annoying. But at least they're unique since they get a new attack depending if they're the final enemy alive. while Scarabs on the other hand have really buggy, can insta-kill you if you get knocked over, and have much longer immune phases. Fordun says that they hate Eskimos. Personally, I find them kinda chill. Please don't unsubscribe. Cody says Saracen over Bear, which I feel like most people would disagree with. Bear is objectively the better character since his tornado does more hits than the Saracen's. But at the same time, Saracen also has a unique projectile attack, so I guess it's just personal preference. Banana Man says that Green Knight is a good character. No. Bartola Motion says hot take stove. Hey, you, what are you doing? Get out my chair. Excalibur says that friendly fire should be an option. And yeah, I 100% agree. If anyone picks open face Grey Knight, then you should be able to kill them. USSR vs Recordus says that Green Knight's magic is even better than Red Knight's magic. For this one, I have to disagree. When it comes to elemental resistance, Green Knight's magic is the most resisted in the whole game. Plus, Red Knight is really effective at taking out groups of enemies and beefies too. And that's the final Castle Crashers hot take. Now I'm sorry if yours didn't make it in the video, but honestly there was quite a lot. But if you'd like to get involved, then I'll link my Discord server in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.